Hello and welcome to the Fitness Professor. Today I would like to present a study to you in order to find out if consuming more protein also leads to greater training success. Yes, the study that I want to present to you, the title is too long for me now, you can read it yourself. New, published in 2023, it has addressed the age-old question of how much protein do I need for optimal training outcomes for muscle building, but also perhaps muscle building mixed with concurrent training, i.e. with endurance training, high-intensity endurance training combined. And yes, maybe you know the recommendation that applies more or less worldwide, that about 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day are optimal actually for muscle building. Many people say that an increase in quantity could also result in an increase in quantity, and that is precisely the question that the authors addressed. So, it has been observed that these 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight bring approximately more or less than just double the amount, specifically 3.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. And then they compared a group that does strength training with a group that does both strength training and endurance training, which is known as concurrent training. Yes, study was exciting. What exactly was done? 44 young men who were trained for strength were taken. Participants were randomly assigned to one of the 4 training groups. There were 2 concurrent training groups, so they underwent strength training and high-intensity intervals. Each group was fed with 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight of proteins for 16 weeks. The other one with double the amount, the same goes for strength training, but they only did strength training. 1.6 GRI versus 3.2 GRI. All groups had 11 participants, and the whole thing, as I said, lasted for 4 months. Yes, what was measured? A whole lot. It was already a complex study. The body composition was measured with a DEXA scan, the strength naturally, both the 1 repetition maximum and the strength endurance. Using a Wingate test, the measurement of anaerobic endurance capacity was conducted, while the measurement of general performance involved vertical jumps and pull-ups. Additionally, the VO2 max, which refers to the maximum oxygen uptake capacity, was assessed, and various blood samples were collected to monitor liver and kidney function. I don't want to explain the study to you in too much detail now. Whoever wants to can just press stop here. Right on the next slides of the methodology, because here it is written down again exactly what was done. You can see here roughly there is an upper body and a lower body. The strength training was divided so into a 2 split, and that was done a total of 4 times in a week. The endurance training is explained here in basic terms with Table A, how the process works, and here in detail with Table B, which mainly includes HIIT, i.e. high-intensity trainings, were built here. Who wants to make a quick stop and take a look at it? We're jumping straight into the results now, it's getting exciting. On one hand, they naturally examined the body composition. It is important to mention that in this regard, all groups have observed a significant increase in their muscle mass, indicating a positive outcome of the study conducted. As expected, those who did pure strength training had a little bit more than those who did concurrent training, but that was not a big difference. Body fat, also called Körperfett in German, decreased by 9% in the CT1 group, which performed concurrent training, both types of training. They consumed slightly less protein, specifically 1.6 grams. And what was even more exciting was the VAT, which is the visceral body fat, by as much as 16%. So for anyone who wants to lose a little belly fat, this combination of strength and endurance training or high-intensity interval training is probably a very good idea. However, it is already known from previous studies. Yes, and then of course the performance was examined. Here you can observe small yet exquisite distinctions. For instance, the CT1 group has emerged victorious on more occasions, or at times the RT2 group has emerged victorious. You can check it out calmly if you want to pause, but essentially it must be stated that there were no group disparities. So, the first result is already indicating that whether it's 1.6 grams or 3.2 grams, it actually did not make a significant impact, so there is no truly relevant distinction. The results demonstrated improvement in all groups, including upper body power and lower body power. However, there was still a small difference observed between RT2 and RT1. Also, jumping and pull-ups Everything has improved, and logically the VO2 max, especially for those who have also done concurrent training, so those who have also done high intensity training. Up to now, as anticipated, subsequently different blood parameters also became highly thrilling. In this analysis, you can primarily observe the measured values of liver and kidney, and as expected, there is a significant increase in the measurement of protein intake that has been recorded. And up to this point, that has been clinically inconspicuous. Naturally, it is important to keep in mind that this type of situation can occur. That means if I now take care of people who, for example, have a liver or kidney dysfunction, that would already be an important statement. Yes, conclusion summarized everything again. The high amounts of protein lead to exactly the same structure of muscle mass and also strength or overall performance which has been measured. No significant distinction was discovered. Therefore, it is satisfactory to remain at approximately 1.6 grams per kilogram of protein, at the very least for the majority of individuals. And that is indeed good news, because that is not very little at all. Yes, if you think about it, such an 80-kilogram heavy athlete would have to consume about 120, 130 grams. Pure protein, that is not very little. And therefore, actually, I believe it's quite good news. More doesn't bring more here, at least that's what these study results say. In concurrent training, there is also the information that comparable outcomes could potentially be achieved through the utilization of exercises such as jumps and pull-ups, which have been shown to yield similar results. And as mentioned previously, it is important to monitor liver and kidney function, but for a healthy athlete, consuming larger quantities of protein is likely to be relatively unproblematic. So keep having an adequate amount of protein during training, but it does not have to be that substantial. Thank you for your attention.